Well, back with you, and we have the VAT40 ready for this vehicle. We have a customer complaint. As a matter of fact, ironically enough, this complaint sounds similar to what a customer once told me years ago in the auto electric business, that her car sounded like a machine gun when she went to start it. And when she went to elaborate, she meant one of those air-powered BB machine guns at the carnivals, you know, that you shoot the little red star out of. Let's see what this one sounds like when we go to crank it. Go ahead and crank it. Definitely is not cranking, but it's making all kinds of funny noises. Now, that's the first thing we always do in any problem, especially in this series in the approach, and that is always verify the customer complaint before going any further. If you can't verify the complaint, you can't diagnose the problem. Let's go ahead and hook our VAT40 positive and negative cables up to this battery. Then we'll hook up the inductive ammeter clamp with the arrow pointing towards the battery on the positive cable. Make sure we'll get it around all the positive cables too. There's more than one positive cable coming out of that battery terminal. There. Arrow pointed towards the battery on the positives. Now, let's see what this looks like. Oh, we've got a problem already. We have about 10.5 to 11 volts on the battery. Now, normally, we wouldn't go any further. We'd stop right here and recharge this battery or replace it, recharge, test, or replace, and go further at that point. But actually, let's go ahead and see what happens with both the ammeter and the voltmeter when we have low voltage to start this engine. Let's go ahead and try and start it again. It's amazing the vehicle actually even starts at all. But you notice that our low voltage that we had to begin with went even lower, went down to around 6 volts. Amazing the starter actually even cranked the engine at all. And the ammeter only went up to about maybe 100 amps. So we had low current, which is good, but low voltage. So the problem with this battery is low voltage. Now, what would we do if we saw a good battery, let's say 12.5 or 12.8 volts, and when we went to crank, we saw the ammeter take a dive, let's say 500 amps, but the battery voltage maintained, we'll say 9 or 10 volts. That would indicate we had a problem either with cranking the engine physically, a mechanical problem with the engine, or the starter motor itself drawing too much current. The battery would be fine. When the battery takes a dive and the ammeter doesn't, as far as the battery voltage takes a dive and the ammeter doesn't, then we have a battery issue and or cable connection problem. But when the voltage stays fine and the ammeter takes the dive, it's the other way around. It's an engine problem and or starter motor problem. Now let's go ahead and check this battery, charge it, and see what happens after a good charge on the battery. Well, we tested the battery and it proved to be bad, so we replaced it. Now with the replacement battery, we're going to check this starter and see what it does. Go ahead and crank the engine. Again. It seems to run, start and run. The battery voltage holds in there very well, and the amperage also, the current draw of the starter motor, is very low. Now, let's really give this starter a little more thorough test. Let's disconnect something to keep the engine from running. For example, we're going to disconnect the ignition module, and that'll keep the engine from running. Then we can crank to our heart's content to see how well this battery, the battery cables, the starter cables, and the starter holds up for an extended crank time. Now we've disconnected the ignition module. We can get an extended crank test to see what the amperage of the starter is and what the battery voltage holds out at. Let's go ahead and crank it now. Okay, just over 100 amps and just under 12 volts. So the starter is working beautifully. This gear reduction starter in this Chrysler is holding in there around 100 amps, which is fine. If we were to see 300 or 400 or 500 amps, that'd be a problem. The voltage is hanging in there very good, so we know we don't have any cable connection problems, nor do we have a battery problem.